We are all decluttering at different times in our homes, but we can't let that completely take over our lives. We have a lot going on, and it's okay to have room for both and to plan for both, and that's what you're going to see today. Welcome to my home. As promised, I am sharing a new friend with you today, and her name is Darlene, and she is from the channel Super 60. And so I hope you'll go over to her channel. This is a collab. When you're done watching mine, and let her know that I sent you over there. You're going to love her channel. She is so sweet and friendly, and she loves sharing her love of recipes, her lifestyle, and her faith over on her channel. And if you are here from Darlene's channel, my name is Karen, and I am the mom of 7, and I've been married over 30 years, and I love to share cleaning and cleaning tips, and I have big decluttering projects going on. I do share some recipes and also some DIY projects. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I would invite you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, click on the bell, and hit all notifications, and YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. Now, I know some of you are here for the decluttering, some are here for the recipes, and some are here for both. And I'm making an amazing beef soup as well as whoopie pies. I'm testing out these recipes for an upcoming church supper that we have going on, and I can't wait to show them to you. One of the things that keeps happening as I'm decluttering here in the basement is I get caught up in video production. So, you know, I'm decluttering and I've got a bag for trash, I've got boxes for Goodwill, and they're not leaving the house. So I need to really make sure my husband and I go around this week. And I also have things, odds and ends that get left out. I find more Christmas decor upstairs, which honestly keeps happening. I keep going, oh wait, what about that pillow? Oh wait, what about that scarf? And so I have some things that I need to really get put away before I can get decluttering, because otherwise I'm not really accomplishing what I want to accomplish. Here you can see I have this bag of mishmash things, and the Valentine should be upstairs, so it shouldn't even be down here. And this is from when I was doing the Valentine decorating, which explains a lot. And so was this, because this is winter, so it came off. And I have my Christmas shower curtain there. This is trash. So you can just see. And then someone brought the wreath that was on my front door down for me, so that is just sitting on top of a box, obviously not where I want it. It's going to get ruined. Then we're just going to have to go around and collect these boxes that are going to Goodwill. These are empty boxes, so I could probably take care of that right this second, although I might use this. I'll leave that one for the moment. I'm not going to use this one right away, if at all. So this goes over where empty boxes go, and I recognize I might be getting rid of a lot of these, but for now, until I'm done organizing, I don't want to waste them. This is garbage. This is Goodwill. This I am keeping. These I'm going to be using today. I bought because they fit, so we're going to see that today. After I clean up my messes, then you can see these shelves behind my head. That's the homeschool stuff. And then down further is the stuff we already did last week. And you remember I said I was going to get a box for the yarn and the crafts, because the yarn is in that little green box, and I did do that. First, I'm going to take care of this box, and before I do that, let's get the stuff out of here. That's winter. In another video, I said Santa hadn't got put away, so he is now in this box, all ready for next year. Because, you know, you can't have Christmas without a creepy Santa looking in at you through the door. One day, because he's facing out, of course, he's on our door, the second door of the house, not the main door. And I don't know if you remember, some of you might remember one of my videos I showed, actually I think it was on Instagram. Yeah, I think it was Instagram, but the wind had blown, and it had blown his head around. So when I lifted the shade in the morning, there he was staring at me. That was not what I needed to see first thing in the morning. And my shower curtain, this can be put up top. Then then this, I need to get a more permanent solution, but for now, it's getting hung up. And I'll probably put some plastic over it for now. For now, this pillow is going to go in this bag. It's just very long and bulky. So it's going to get its own little vacuum sealer bag. We'll have to bring down the vacuum at some point. There we go. Get it started. Now I have some spring and summer stuff that can go right in here from this bag. It is in its own bag. This is the garland, the floral garland. This needs to go back upstairs in here. Oh, this pedestal. This used to be beside my sink. Originally I got it and there was a stand like this. And I like to use these little cake stands for soap and lotion and stuff beside my sink. I like it that it's a little elevated and not kind of in the wetness of the countertop. But the stand had fallen off and I was just using it flat. But then I've gotten a new one, so I am going to go ahead and declutter this. All right, that feels good to get all that put away. This is the box I got for crafts. Had a crochet hook in it that was upstairs. Nice. I even have some extra room in here. Maybe a little extra, not a lot. As a recap, so there's my Christmas and my winter decor. They do have small labels, and I probably will be labeling when we're completely done. There's the fall stuff, wreaths, my pumpkin, okay, spring, summer. This one's all nice and neat as well. There's off-season clothes, which I will be going through that here at some point as well. China, that's the sentimental. That's the sentimental row. We're leaving that. Here now is the crafts, and I'm going to aim at homeschool stuff today. So even if you're not homeschooling, this definitely goes with kids' schoolwork or any papers you need to keep. I'm going to show you what I am doing with them. And what I've decided is to go ahead and pull this table out because it's just a little cramped in here for me to work. This is actually good too because there's actually lighting out in this area of the basement. You might remember way back when I was cleaning out my office, I had extra folders, and together we decided I would keep them for a little while and see if I would use them. Now I'm really glad I did. I have more in the second box. Got these boxes at Staples, and they each have a lid. There's the lid, and they were $12.99. So more than I would normally pay, but I decided for the peace of mind of having the homeschool stuff super organized with a nice fitting plastic cover, totally worth it. I do still have the file cabinets that we decluttered when we were doing the big paper declutter, but since I have the space on the shelving, I'm going to use the shelving instead. I'm going to go, and I was going to get all the boxes so that I could just go quickly, but I've changed my mind. I think it's worth it to walk back and forth. That way, if I need to stop, I don't have all these boxes. So I'm going to go get my first box. Now this on top is a portfolio, and it's where you show the beginning of a year, the middle of a year, and the end of a year. So this is all coming out, and I'm going to be put in one of the file folders, and I'm going to need to bring down my black Sharpie when I go back up because I need to label. So what I'll be doing is I'll be writing portfolio and the year. All right, now let's see what's in here. Okay, this looks like maybe junior high. All right, this is going to be a little harder than I thought. Of course, it always is. So what I'm going to do, I have a trash bag. I'm going to put all the files in here for now. Put the trash bag in this one. And then I'm only I'll keep samples if it's from portfolios, but unless it's high school work, I won't keep full notebooks. I do keep high school just as a precaution, but I do the proper legal assessments I need to do for my state, so I really do not need Here I am keeping the math discs, even though we won't use them because it has their grades on it. And then the books I will get rid of. So I stumbled upon my oldest Francois' work, but it's stuff he was doing as a dual enrolled college student. He was dual enrolled in college and high school, so I know he has grades from the college, so I don't need to keep that stuff at all. Yay for transcripts. This is a great series. I'm sure if I donate it, someone's going to be blessed by it. For the dessert that I'm bringing to our church supper, I decided to go with whoopie pies. It just fits so many little categories for me. First of all, whoopie pies are seen as very special, and they're always a hit everywhere you go. It's also a recipe that my grandmother used to make, as well as my mother, and you might not know this, but Maine and Pennsylvania fought for the rights to claim the whoopie pie. It is Maine's state sweet treat, not to be confused with the state dessert, which is blueberry pie. So anyway, this was my mother's recipe, and it's getting to be very hard to read. Look at that. But I don't want to let go of it because it's in her handwriting. And so I went to the internet, and I will link it below, and all recipes had Maine's best whoopie pies, and that reads Aeon. So anyways, I'm excited to get to kind of pass this little treat down to my kids and have them making them as well. So Yvonne's going to be helping me today. We're going to start by creaming all of our wet ingredients. We're going to put in 1/2 cup of Crisco shortening, or shortening, whatever you have. And if you don't have shortening, you can use butter. And then 2 cups of sugar, and we're going to cream it. We're going to add 2 eggs, and we're going to add them one at a time and cream it a little bit in between. And to that, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Our last wet ingredient is 2 cups of milk. And you see, if you'd have put the milk in with it and tried to cream it that way, it just chases the Crisco around and it doesn't actually incorporate it. It would take forever. Now that we have all of our wet ingredients creamed and incorporated together, we're going to put all of our dry ingredients together in a separate bowl. For dry ingredients, we're going to use 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa, plus another 2 tablespoons of cocoa. So you'll put that in all at once. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and then 1½ teaspoons of salt. We're going to whisk our dry ingredients all together, and then we're going to be adding them little by little to our wet ingredients until it's all completely incorporated. All right, so now we're going to put it in little by little and keep mixing. And what you want is you want it all mixed together, but you don't want to be beating it for a long time. So I'm getting out into the light. All right. You literally just like, come here. Wait, you're in my light. I'm okay. Okay, so what we're gonna try to do is you want small, I'm trying to avoid lights, and you want small dollops and you want them to be uniform. So we're gonna use this little cookie thing to get our dollops to be the same amount of smallness on the parchment paper. So you need to give them good amounts of room to expand. And now they're gonna go in a 375-degree oven for, how long will they cook? 8 to 10 minutes. Yep, till they're set in the middle. The timer went off, so let's check them with a toothpick. You can see how much bigger they got in there. The toothpick is clean. Those are just beautiful. I like to wait and make the filling when I'm actually ready to do the filling because I don't want to leave it in the refrigerator, have it get firm. So I'm gonna let these cool actually overnight since it's getting kind of late for me anyway. It's almost 9 o'clock. And then we'll make the filling in the morning. Meanwhile, Yvonne is studying. Look at her.
Oh, don't remind me.
It's time to make the filling for my little angel babies. So it does call for 2 7-ounce jars of fluff, and this is a regional thing, but you might be able to order it online, but don't be paying an arm and a leg. If you don't have fluff in your area, just look up whoopie pie filling recipe and you can keep scrolling. You'll eventually find one that doesn't have fluff in it. I'm putting 1 cup of milk in the microwave. The goal is to have it hot but not simmering. In my microwave, this was about 1.5 minutes to get it hot. I'm adding 1 cup of butter that is at room temperature, 1 cup of shortening, 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 7-ounce jars of fluff. And I don't know where they think you get 7 ounce because these are 7.5. So I'm gonna kind of guess what would be a half to leave in there. And if you have these same size jars, then I would suggest if you have never had a peanut butter and fluff sandwich, this would be a great time to try it. Look at that, it is nice and fluffy. Can you see that? Beautiful. Now the only thing left to do is spread the cream in the middle of my whoopie pie. It says to use 1.5 tablespoons of cream, but to be honest, my response to that is, you are not the boss of me. And what you could even do is you could get maybe some Valentine sprinkles, and you could roll the sides in Valentine sprinkles if you wanted to do this as a Valentine's Day treat. This will definitely make 25 whoopie pies, so 50 of the cookies. I actually didn't want to make all of them in this sitting, so I took my leftover batter and I put it in a cake pan. You could do cupcakes, and so we can make a big giant whoopie pie too. That's another option if you don't want to have to do all the individual ones. But all right, who's ready? These are so good. You have to try them. They'll be a big hit at any church or community gathering. Let me know if you're going to try them.
And just like that, now it is a whoopie pie Valentine cake.
You know, papers can be such a culprit. I just realized I forgot my black pen again. Very hard. It takes forever to get through them, it feels like. But I think if we do the same thing that we talked about before, and that is scheduling out a little bit of time every day to work on it, suddenly you're going to look back and it's going to be done. And this is just kind of thankless work, it feels like, but once it's done, it's going to feel so good to have all this stuff organized. Because for me, in particular, this will set me up for preparing transcripts for my girls, and it helps me to be motivated to do this when I know what the benefit's going to be. So I try to pick a little bit of time to do this, and so I chose about an hour yesterday. I have like half an hour to 40 minutes today. We'll see what we get done. And I also try to think about the benefit to me. You know, how is this going to benefit me in the end, being organized in this way in particular. That helps to keep me going because I got my eye on the prize. So think about your papers that you need to get organized. You know, maybe it's bills. Maybe it's for taxes. Taxes are going to be coming up. I'm going to be showing you how I get that stuff organized in the days to come. But all of these things make this time and how kind of boring it is worthwhile. And I would also recommend watching some videos. You know, it doesn't even have to be about organizing papers. It could be cleaning, decluttering, those things. What is it that motivates you? Listening to a podcast, listening to a book, audio book. What is that going to be for you? So I'm going to need to come down and organize this a bit more, maybe even put more file folders and divide it up between the two. And I think I'll do, like, I have 4 kids, these are 4. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is my trash. So this is ongoing. This is an empty notebook that I think my daughter might want to use this year. I need to empty these out. These actually have some supplies we need that we could be using. These are workbooks that are all filled in, so I am going to keep these. This is my pile of donate. This is a box of notebooks and papers that we can continue using. Then I'm going to add these 2 notebooks to my donate pile. Don't mind the cat beds, but I know I'll be able to use that for more because that's going to fit on the shelves. This is obviously going in the trash, so this will go on a shelf at some point. I'm going to get my husband's help. I am going to go ahead and put that on the shelf now so I can kind of see how it fits. And then I think we might be done down here. I'm going to have my husband help me with this stuff. Well, maybe I'll move that. We'll see. I want to see if that box I just did will fit here so that it's easy to access when I want to start again. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is a beautiful thing. Now, I'll probably be moving this. I'll rearrange some things so that they can actually be on the next shelf up all together. This, I know, is homeschool books, and I need to look through them, see if I'm donating them, but I need my husband to get that down. That's too much for my back. But even this and what we did before, that is such an improvement over what I had before. And I do need to go through this and this together to see what I need to keep. But that is a good accomplishment for today. I'm just going to clean this up real quick, get it away from the furnace. And then this I'll put on a shelf because this is stuff we can use another year. It's all blank paper. Blank paper was super light, so I have put it up there for now. What decluttering project are you really dreading, and how can you just make little bites and chunks out of it, either daily or weekly even, so that you eventually have that off your back and out of your life? Let me know in the comment section below. I had to get that dirty sweatshirt off from the basement. I am testing out a soup recipe today. My husband recently made up a beef soup and it was really good. He used beef broth and he used sirloin steak, and he also used tamari, which is a form of soy sauce. It's a gluten-free soy sauce. I'm gonna try it, and I'm trying it to see if I want to bring it to the church supper, so this would work for any community supper. I like to use steak sometimes. It's just something a little bit special and unexpected. You know, like when you have someone over for dinner, they're expecting, if they're a big family, spaghetti. But if you give them steak, it just is a little bit special. I'm going to be using vegetable broth. And the reason for this is I really want this to be a gluten-free, dairy-free dish that's more accessible to more people. And you may or may not know this, but a lot of beef broth, or maybe all beef broth, I don't know, all the ones I can find at my store have wheat in them, which I find very curious. So since I like to add about a tablespoon of tomato paste to my beef broth anyway, it's kind of something my mother used to do, I thought I would use the vegetable broth in the beef soup. So long story short, let's get going and I'll show you what we put in it. And what I love about soup, it's really a blank canvas that you can just throw anything you have in the house in, and for some reason it just comes out tasting amazing. So let's see what we can put in this one. What I love about a church or community supper is where else can you go and have taco salad with baked beans, with chowder, with spaghetti and lasagna and salad. Where else can you go and just have such a variety of different foods? And I have to say, my favorite supper is when anyone decides to do an international supper. It's not easy on the stomach, but it's fun to get to try a little bit of different recipes from all around the world. I really love that. But that's what I love about church suppers. They are definitely a culinary adventure. Since I'm going to keep this dairy-free, I'm not going to use butter. I'm going to use avocado oil. I really like avocado oil because it has a pretty high smoke point and it doesn't have a very strong flavor. I'm going to let that heat up and add my onions in. So into the pot, the onions go, and I'm going to let these get sizzled while I am cutting up my steak. And then when I add the steak, I'm also going to add in some garlic because, I mean, really, you just need garlic. The onion is on medium heat. I don't have a ton of steak here, but it does influence the whole thing. So I don't feel like you need a ton. I'm going to It's very thick because it's a sirloin, top sirloin cut. So I'm gonna cut it through the center so that they're thinner, and then cut them kind of small so they go through the whole soup. But if I do decide to do this for the church supper, I'll probably do more. And I like to use my glass cutting board because then I don't have to worry about any meat fibers staying behind. One of my favorite things when I was a kid going to church suppers is my mother and father were not ever big on green bell peppers. And my aunt always made spaghetti for the church supper, and she would mix the sauce right with the spaghetti. And what I love so much about her spaghetti is she would put green bell peppers in it, and she put a good amount in it. And I just love that flavor in my spaghetti. And I was always so excited to get over to her spaghetti. And I don't even know if I even ate all that much more than just that and dessert. Of course, my mother would always make sure that she made something all of us kids would eat. That way she knew there was going to be at least one thing there that we would eat that wasn't dessert. Then, of course, when you get to be a teenager, you got to go to the back of the line because they always are thinking the teenagers are going to eat all the food and then there's not going to be anything left for the adults. But definitely I have really wonderful memories of church suppers. So as you can see, that made a good amount of beef. I'm going to add in the beef, and I want it to get seared. So I'm not adding any liquid in here. If it gets real dry, just give it a little bit more oil. Now I'm going to add in some garlic. I just measure with my heart, definitely at least 2 cloves, I would say, maybe 3. This is an ideal time to be adding salt and pepper. I'm just going to let that get cooked a little bit. Another thing I like about soup is that you can really add in whatever vegetables you have on hand. This particular one, we're not going to be using potatoes because what we like to do is make up some rice, and everyone puts a scoop of rice into their soup. So what I would do for the church supper is I would make up some rice in my rice cooker and just use an extension cord and have the rice right in front of the soup so people could take a scoop, put it in their soup if they want to, but they don't have to. You know, you might have some people who are trying to cut back on carbs, and so they might not want the rice. And I also tend to, even if I don't make my soup in a crock pot, I tend to pop it in a crock pot before I take it to church, because that way we can use either a power strip or an extension cord and keep the crock pot on, and that way you know your soup is going to be hot. But I am using, the rest of what I'm using in the soup will be frozen vegetables, but I really don't even want a soup if it doesn't have carrots in it. I just love the way that carrots absorb flavor. Here now is the easy part. I'm going to put my carrots in. Then I chose, actually my husband chose when he did it, to have Brussels sprouts in it. We love cabbage and steak, so it makes sense throwing down some Brussels sprouts. They're very cabbagey, of course. Then I also have some tricolor peppers. And there's onions in here too, but that's okay. I'll just have onions in it twice. I love onions. What do you think? Maybe a little bit more of the peppers. Woo! That was a little more than I thought, but that's good. Now I'm gonna give this a little oregano shake. Just a little. I feel like with oregano, a little goes a long way, but I think it's very good in soup. Now it's time to put in the broth, and broth is one of those things I just kind of put in however much I think. You know, there's some people who like a soup that's more stewy, and there's other people that like a really brothy soup. My family tends to like a very brothy soup. I'm just gonna cover this, bring it to a boil, turn it down to simmer, and when all the vegetables are cooked through, it's done. Now that it's boiling, I'll just turn it on low and cover it up.
Here it is, all ready to go. Yum.